What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. We are back for another Race Spec F1 Esports video, but not the Pacific series that you are well known to on this channel. This time it's for the Elite series here. We're back in Tier 2 once again. There is the calendar for the Elite and the Global series. Now, this obviously takes part on the Sundays, usually on the weekend, sorry, I should say. Compared to the Tuesdays, which is obviously Pacific, Euros and Americas, this is basically, the Elite and Global series is basically all in one, so I'm pretty sure it's basically all Pacific, all Euro and all Americas race together as one sort of thing. But there is a little slight difference, obviously. Obviously, the Elite tier is more based on drivers who, I think it's just racing line only or no assist, that sort of thing. Global tier, basically, you use any assist you want to there. So, probably a lot of question marks you've probably be asking is like, why have I joined this Elite series when I wasn't doing much on a Sunday anyway? Well, I mean, that's true. I haven't been doing much Sunday racing since probably AOR days, to be fair, but I just thought I'd have a little bit of a breather for the time being. But the call was put out by Plevs, who actually, of course, runs the Race Spec League, to the Pacific tiers. The numbers were sort of, up and down a little bit in the Elite series. Well, what I say up and down, there was like some guys that were in Tier 1, they just dropped out, and, he had to sort of elevate a few guys up to like the top tier, which I don't think was originally part of his plans originally, but, drivers' plans change right, left and centre sort of thing on the go, so you can't expect these sort of things anyway. You never know whether the driver is sort of like, whether someone's busy during the weekend or what, or whether they're not enjoying the racing or something. Maybe, I don't know, to be honest. But, the call was put out there, and, that was basically it, basically. So, we obviously put the call out. I had a little think about it. I thought, you know what, let's have a crack of it here and, try something a little bit different, always got to try a few different things around here, and I think this was especially after the weekend I had in Pacific tier around France, which was, well, Dylan Buckley's, to be fair. So I felt like I needed a little bit more redemption, to say the least. So I felt like let's have another crack compared to what occurred in the Pacific tier, because I felt like back then in Pacific tier and Tier 2, I felt like I was having a decent opportunity, possibly, of a good result there, but obviously other things played a factor in that, to say the least. So, as you can tell, I'm driving the Red Bull. This seat was formerly driven by, who the hell drove the Red Bull?
That was pushing it to the limit, literally.
Don't get me wrong, don't quote me on this, but I think Pure Gold possibly was in the Red Bull before he got elevated to the top tier. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I decided to pick the Red Bull because I haven't driven the Red Bull for quite a while, actually. So thought I might give it another crack once again. So anyway, what you're seeing right now is my fastest lap, actually, of this qualifying session. We go about green in Sector 1, purple in Sector 2, which is basically null and void because, well, it's still about a bit of a glitch on this game anyway. So, we come across the line now, and we jump ourselves up into P9. So, I mean, not overly too bad, to say the least, on our...
Another lap time, please, come on.
I think this is our first...
Get in the pits, come on.
So, first soft tyre round.
Seconds, roughly, surely.
Not soft tyre round. Soft tyre run, I should say. But,
get rid of the fuel, get rid of
I was trying to get myself back.
Go, get me in the garage, come on. Yep, come on.
So you can see I'm trying absolutely quickly as I can to, like, because I'm against the clock here a little bit here to try and get back out here to try set another lap just before the timer goes to 0. So because I did this error in the Pacific series, I did this in the Pacific series, and obviously it cost me
Why
And
am
of
I always on
course,
the friggin' bubble here?
there's always like this early part of the game. There was always a bit of a glitch where, even though the clock went
Literally
0, you
pushing
could
it.
still sort of like do your lap time. But again, that's sort of been that was sort of rectified a bit later on into the game. But I was literally pushing on my outlap here on this sort of called final run. But you'll see the timer is not looking too brilliant at the moment, if I'm completely honest. And well, I'm going to miss out completely.
Damn
here.
it! Why?
And, well, to be honest, I'm furious with myself there, that one. I just got to time myself a little bit better. Like, even though I can still do the
I
lap,
keep doing it again.
I was not overly happy. And, well, basically, if you cross, there was a rule earlier on that said if you cross the line after the 0, after the timer goes 0, you basically have to abort your lap time. Your lap time won't count, otherwise you'll get a penalty of some sort anyway. But in the end, we finished up in P11 there in the end. ACW, who's been up I think the top part of the table, is on pole position ahead of Alex Patzode, and I think is that Kush in 3rd. Plez is in 4th. Contrast is in 5th. The LM15 in 6th. 7th is Bodhot, actually. That's why his gamer tag. I don't know why his gamer tag was not showing there.
That's interesting. Okay. I was expecting to be
But
wet,
get to the
okay,
race, which, I mean, I knew straight away that I was not looking forward to, because the wet weather was going to play a bit of a factor here. But it was set to dry out a little bit later into the race. So this could play interesting. It could be a little bit interesting here to see how we pan out. Now, let's be honest, I'm not really known for my wet weather pace here as we set off now for the formation lap, which I'll get onto a little bit later on. But obviously there's some guys I'm well aware of. I've raced before, that being Plebs. Contrast, of course, well known, very well famous YouTuber. Who else? G-Force Dry, of course, I've raced in Pacific Tier with him. The other guys I don't think are really, well, I was going to say that. Bodhod is probably another one I've heard of, but not raced with in the past. But other than that, I don't think I know too much of these guys.
What's he doing
at this time, anyway. So you saw there that Contrast actually was a bit spun around there, and this is why, because he's absolutely lost grip on the formation lap. And then you'll see when he's obviously trying to get himself going back, get back going again. But the game decides to disqualify.
Disqualified, too slow. Fuck. Oh no. Oh, that's so shit. I've already fucking bottled it.
Oh, I do who the other racing point is, because
not the greatest of starts, and especially probably not great when you're not having a go at Contrast here. But wearing a Red Bull shirt when you're driving a Mercedes, probably not ideal to say the least. But anyway, let's get over to the racing, shall we? So here we go. We're all set for the round 70 of France 5. Red lights. It's a very long hole, but let's do it around Paul Ricard, and it's a pretty decent-ish start off the line here. Obviously take it very nice and cautiously. Axie,
I can't see a thing.
As you can tell, I'm already complaining about the lack of visibility. There's contact already in the first corner. Someone's spun around. Not sure. I think it's the other Renault of LM15. I'm getting a little bit squeezed here by, I think that's the Star is Born in the Haas. I'm going very wide, and I've obviously got it destroyed at the 50-meter board there. So if you're wondering who destroyed that, it was me. I was going side by side here with KD into turn 6. Still managing to go through side by side through here.
Harry on Savannah wet.
Yeah, through sideways.
That was not ideal going through there with the overtake button.
No, probably not ideal, especially when you're trying to go flat out, obviously out of the corner. But just sort of getting used. We have to sort of get used to these conditions now, because we have to probably get used to. You probably hear me complaining. That's just normal for me. So that I couldn't see a thing. It's probably much better for wets, but intermediate tyres probably is obviously the way they started the race here. So through the so-called flat turn 10 here, KD going sideways.
9.5.
As I take out the 100-meter board here, and
oh, you're kidding me! I got an
illegal overtake for that. Illegal overtake for passing him while I was off track. Please. So obviously I had to try and let off the throttle to let him go back through in the end. We tried to go for a move. It was probably too much there ideal in the end, so backed out of that one. that way. So we're sitting all right in position 10 at the moment. I think you probably saw there, Heru Tomato's actually on the wet compounder tyres. I think you have the choice of starting on inters or wets, so he's had the choice of starting on wets.
And wets will probably have similar pace at the moment.
That doesn't help, Jeff.
No, it doesn't. There's my point. Exactly. So it's pretty, apparently, according to Jeff, it's pretty even between inters and wets. But at the moment, I think probably the intermediate tyres is probably the best way to go here. I'm not sure about Harry Tomato. That was someone behind. I think it was Chain Game Wow behind that may have spun out. Yeah, so not entirely sure what's happened to him. But
that's a lot of wheel spin there.
Until I'm getting used to, getting used to the track conditions as well, and just learning the way through turn 10 as well. Because usually in the dry conditions, turn 10 is usually flat. So. But I was just trying to be a little bit cautious because I didn't know how much throttle to take there.
I can't see. That's definitely
There's
a corner
the
cut
first
there.
corner cutting penalty of... so first corner cutting warning, I should say. But we sort of dropped away a little bit there from KD. But he's slowly but surely catching up to the contrast here at the moment. But then again, here we go through turn 10. The confidence just starting to build up again.
It's somewhat not flat.
That was probably a little bit close enough to flat, you could say, but not quite. Obviously, not in these conditions, I would say. But cut to lap 4 now.
Lap was, but it's pretty close.
Slowly but surely catching back up to this group here of KD in contrast. And then I was starting to close up there, but then I started to drop away. As you can see, KD.
This is KD. You're doing that many a times, mate.
You probably have noticed maybe that KD is losing the back end quite a bit there. So maybe he's struggling a little bit with the conditions. Sort of a little bit worried as well, because I mean, if he has a moment, and well, I've probably got, if I don't have much where else to go, then I've got no other place to slam into the car.
The wet weather god's car, a little bit.
Well, I mean, you can sort of say it's the wet weather god's car being in Max Verstappen's Red Bull. So I mean, well, that's the setup anyway. So I ran very wide there. Actually, a little bit, I made a little error through turn 15 there. So I was pretty lucky. In the end, I didn't lose out too badly there.
Contrast.
Trying to floor the throttle as best I can. Didn't get quite the best of drives out of turn 9.
These guys.
So I've probably got to get used to that throughout this race. Through turn 10 we go again. Not quite. A little bit loose at the back end, but thankfully it was okay. I think we've dropped G4's Dre as well. He's well and truly a little bit further back than what I was probably expecting, but we're still hanging on to these two in front here. The guys a little bit further up the road have pulled away, so it's a bit of a battle here for the back half of the points here. Through turn 10 we go here on lap 6. KD losing the back end again and managing to only just save it, but he does lose the spot in the end to myself.
You saved it. I don't know how the hell you saved it.
There I go, losing the back end again. So again, I still don't know how KD saved that one, but certainly gave me a few heart attack modes. All right, here's some replays of the start. He's on board with both the Mercs here, are pretty close to each other here on the grid. Got Plebs on the footage on the right, Contrast on the left. Bit of wheel spin there, so probably not the best of starts for Plebs, and it's a bit hard to tell there. Look like LM15, which is Lachlan, or formerly Expert, 15 I should say. He made contact with the AlphaTauri of Alex Pato. I think that was the way I saw it, but it was very unlucky there for him. But the jump back now aboard with Plebs, just trying to claw his way back through. That's Alex Pato there, obviously, he started on the front row of the grid, so he's dropped a couple of spots. I think he took the shortcut between turns, well, what I say, the shortcut, basically cut out 1 and 2 there. As he goes Bodhod on a move up the inside of Alex into turn 8. Gets it done. Place has a little bit of a look. Trying to put him off, but in the end, I think he outbrakes himself there. So gets to settle in behind and then might come under attack here from A Star Is Born. But then turns on the ERS and then pulls away. But this is probably the best of the starters here with Axi, I think is how you pronounce it, or ACSC. The Frenchman. Who got a good start off the line there. Obviously, trying to go to very much the inside line here. That's probably the better view. Ah, yeah, it is. Actually, Axie's teammate did slam it to the back of Alex Pato, pretty much, and then got spun around. There's Alex, who has obviously cut the first corner. Would not be surprised if he got illegal overtakes right, left, and centre, so has to let Axie go through. But in the end, he got the better of everybody's starts there with front, behind into P3 behind ACW and the race leader Isaac Kush. ACW having a little bit sideways there. Apologies about the French there in the background. I have no idea what they're saying, to be honest. So there's ACW having a little moment there through turn 8 as well. So he's having a few sliding moments through there. Here's the slow-mo replay of the first lap. So you can see Kate got a little bit sideways.
A slide and a half.
That was very, very, very close there in the end to end up with losing.
Are you kidding me? I got a legal
front
overtake
wing
for that.
Losing my front wing over that one. So that was very, very lucky, I got to say. Like I said, it was a heart attack moment, to say the least. But then back we go to Plevs, who's making progress here, or trying to make progress here. Now trying to attack Alex Pato and the Alpha Tauri into turn 8. And he should get this move done. He does. Pretty simple. Now he can chase back after Bodhod and the other racing point, who I think is usually tier 3, if I'm not mistaken, in Elite. So he's just making a one-off drive for this one. Plebs sideways through turn 8, through turn 10, I should say. You see what I mean there? You can't quite take it flat there, but you just got to be a little bit patient through those corners, through turn 10 there, so you don't end up, ending up half spinning or fully spinning. There's Plebs on the back of Bodhod, getting a much better drive out of the corner there, shifting up the gears and probably putting on the ERS, or the overtake button, I should say, up the inside into turn 1 and makes that move stick. So that's P4 now for Plebs. So he's making some inroads now in this wet weather. Now through turn 7, a little bit sideways through there. Got to be, like I said, you got to be a little bit cautious through there. And then this is the other replay, my point of view. I think it was a little bit sideways there, and then you can see he just loses the back end, and he goes to the left.
KD,
so in the end,
you're gone now.
Picked the right way to go by going to the right-hand side. If I went left, I probably would have ended up with damage, and we would have had a massive
somehow you saved it.
Crash there, I reckon.
How the hell you saved it? That's how I saved it.
And again, obviously, I lost the back end a little bit there. So now you can say I've sort of been released a little bit to try and have a crack at eye contrast. So we're trying to get on the power, but you can see I lose a lot of ground there coming out of turn 9, the exit of turn 9. Not getting the greatest of exits out of there. There's the tyre wear update currently to about lap 9. It's not too bad at the moment. I mean, you never know sort of when the weather will stop.
We're looking at about 10 more minutes of rain.
There's an update from Jeff saying it's about 10 minutes, as I have another moment through turn 10. But we're sort of toing and froing a little bit the gaps. Some parts probably I gain a bit on contrast, but others he pull away from me, sort of thing. So, and KD was still there or thereabouts in this battle as well, so he was not out of it. I actually thought he was going to drop away, but I was proven completely wrong there. So it's back to this basic three-way battle for 8th, 9th and 10th. Obviously, A Star Is Born is well and truly up the road. KD having a little look there. Up the inside of turn 5. We're still getting sideways moments through here. We can't afford really to burn up these tyres because, well, it really depends on when the weather will ease and when it's time to go into the slicks. There's Big Chich
he's retired.
Is retired from the French Grand Prix. Of course, he was another one that has joined in for this round as well. But at the moment, Kush is leading by an absolute mile. Seems like he's a bit of a wet weather god at the moment. So he's got quite a margin, you can probably tell on the mini-map there. But at the moment, you can tell we're sort of setting personal best laps along the way. So pace wasn't too bad overall.
Already.
It's already pit stops are happening. KD's in. I think KD was the only one that came into the pit stop.
That's interesting.
Which, I mean, I was a little bit confused at the time, thinking, well, I mean, if the weather's going to improve, over time.
Sort of okay.
There's a bit another update on the tyre wear in lap 12, so we're nearly at the halfway point. So, I mean, we're starting to wear out, but I was trying to maybe hopefully go to the wet weather period as Alex Pato now is into the pit lane, the Italian.
Fucking hell, that's the quickest I've been this lap.
Another personal best, which actually was probably very quick there, so which probably shocked me, as you can probably tell there. So we're still trying to keep up with contrast, but obviously just
making down a little bit.
Well, I don't know whether this is a thing or not, whether it works or not, whether it like it does in real life, but obviously just making sure to cool the tyres down as there's more guys coming into the pit lane now. So obviously these guys don't think that the conditions will dry out enough to get to the end. As you can see, that's contrast. Star is Born and Axes, I think, have come into the pit lane for that lap, so that elevates us now up into P5. But I think I was committed at about this point to maybe just try and push the tyres as long as I can.
I know my tyres are dying.
I could get onto the dry compounded tyres. Now, what that may be, who knows? That, like, sort of, again, depends on whether what conditions. Oh, sorry, when the conditions will dry up. So there's Axie in for another set of inches. Not pretty nice stop there from the Renault boys. Meanwhile, a bit further back, Contrast is also in the pit lane. Now, he doesn't reckon that these will make it to the dry. So
everyone that's realised that earlier.
I mean, yeah, some guys probably will have a crack at just like get onto another set of intermediates, you know, because they have the fresh rubber when all the other guys who may stick it out on the intermediates will probably start to die off, let's be fair. So, but they reckon this is the best way. As Contrast just manages to get ahead of Bodhod, I think, or was it KD? One of the two. It's a bit hard to tell. Actually, it might be KD.
Oh, don't do that.
There, even though I don't think his gamer tag showed up.
Is 5 or 10 more minutes of rain before it dries up. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
And there's a point exactly.
Which is it, Jeff?
It said 5 to 10 minutes now of the wet weather, and I mean it also depends really a little bit as well still about whether that's right or not. So as Chain Game Wow and ACW have now pitted in. I probably should have mentioned as well, Chain Game Well. I think I raced him previously in like Formula in the F2 series, like that last race I took part in season 1 of F2. But you see, we're still just managing.
I think the track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres.
There you go. There's the message there from Jeff saying that the track will dry out pretty soon. So at this point, I am definitely committed to going as long as I can, but to the dry period. To try and get on to another, onto the dry compounded tyres. So
come on,
the tyre wear,
please stop.
And I'm sort of begging the rain to stop here because the tyre wear is starting to get a little bit high. So yeah, at the moment we're still pushing on as best we can. I think Plevs is leading the race at the moment, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, looks like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still on the right tyre for the time being, but we're not a million miles away from slick conditions.
Go, ACW, please.
As you can see here, I'm just letting ACW go through here because he's on fresh intermediate tyres, and then I back out of the corner there. So, yeah, he's obviously on the fresh rubber, and I think Axie should be not too far behind me as well, so he'll make some inroads. But I think, Plevs is definitely doing the same thing as what I am, and I think Bodhod as well. I'm pretty sure Isaac Kush came in to the pit lane onto a fresh intermediates because he's absolutely pretty much going pretty much away at this point. It's his race to lose at this rate. So lap 17 now.
Oh, dear,
nearly very wide and cause a penalty.
There's the penalty.
Whereas I now get a penalty for absolutely making a meal turn 1.
The tyres have deteriorated significantly at this point.
So yeah,
tell me, Jeff, I can see them on the fucking screen.
Telling me that obviously the tyres are starting to get to, well, you could say critical point. As there goes Axie's looking for a move up the inside of turn 5. Sort of is a passing spot, you could say, but in the end I decided to just let him go here because I'm pretty much sort of in now in tyre conservation mode. Hopefully to be sort of be dragged along.
73 on the right, left rear, sorry.
73% on the left rear, you heard me say there. So usually the puncture territory is about 75, 80%. Well, I think the past games we used to be like 70% possibly. Can't actually remember. There's the change for the lead. So Kush has got by Plev. So you can see his tyre wear is probably a little bit higher than mine. So he's literally pushing his to the limit as his Axie pushing,
Oh,
trying to get past
No,
Bodhod, who
Non,
I
non,
think pretty
oh,
much
non,
is doing the exact same thing.
Romer, c'est moi.
Again,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
If any
yeah.
French people understand what he was saying, then yeah, go. Then you'll probably know what he was saying in the party chat. But yeah, I'm not going to have a crack at that at all. So as Jeff was giving me a strategy call,
No, hate it, Jeff.
and it was telling me to go onto another set of intermediate tyres. But considering he said that the dry weather's not too far away, I thought no, bugger it, not having that plan. So we stuck it out for another lap, and you could see.
I know, fucking hell, Jeff.
Again, I'm still trying to.
How's this tyre still going?
Keep the tyres pretty much cool at this point in time.
No.
And again, he's still saying intermediate tyres. So at this point, I'm still waiting for the point where it's time to go into the dry tyres. You can see that the rain has stopped, but the track is still wet. So we're still pushing on as long as we can. Plebs is now bailed out of that one. So I think his tyre wear was probably at critical. So he's decided to pit in for the medium compounded tyres. At this rate of time,
shit.
Oh, I probably didn't realise till he actually went through the first couple of corners there. But I think at this point I'm sort of committed to going on to the soft compounded tyres because I think that should be well and truly enough to get to the end of the race. But
so bloody slow, it's not funny.
I've sort of, well, you could say my pace has backed off quite a bit because obviously I did not want to get a puncture at this stage of the race because otherwise I'd be falling down
Close enough.
the order. And yeah, now I think it's about the right time to come in for the pit stops to change onto the dry tyres. Well, according to Jeff it is. Well, we'll wait and see on that one. As there's Plebs' pit stop, so medium compounded tyres for him. So he doesn't maybe think the softs will get to the end of the race, but you'll see how much grip he has on his exit out of the pit lane. Probably not much. That was me going past his after he came out of the lane. You can see there's just no grip. It was sort of like toing and froing, like it's getting closer to like the dry period. You can see like sort of a dry line, but it's probably just not there yet, sort of thing, if that makes sense. So you can see the guys on the intermediates have probably got a little bit more grip at this stage compared to the guys on, well, Plebs is now on the dry. So Alex Pato goes flying past him, and so will A Star Is Born in the other Haas there. So, but he does have a little bit of a gap behind to GeForce Dre, who's also an intermediate tyre. So just got to keep going as best you can here, and hopefully the tyres will come into fruition a little bit more later on, and then obviously the other guys will have to come in for the dry tyres. So here's his teammate. Contrast putting a bit pressure here on GeForce Dre. Meanwhile, he's got Chain Game Wow not far behind him as well. This Contrast goes flying by up the inside of the turn 10, and then slowly but surely will catch back up to his teammate here. Of course, it looks like he's still struggling here. You can just tell the difference in the amount of grip between inters and wets, inters and dries. And GeForce Dre has gone flying by as well. So you can tell Plebs is struggling.
Way too early for mediums.
Yeah, you can tell his teammate has said it's just too early for the dry compounded tyres. But as soon as I got the message from Jeff saying it was time for the dry tyres, I thought, you know what, it's about time to bail, I think, because
85, shit.
I was literally at critical, very
this
critical.
isn't the lap, and I don't know what is.
I was very much
Gotta
a
take
critical.
something
If I didn't get if I stayed out, I probably would have got a puncture. No joke.
There you go.
But onto the soft compounded tyres we go. We should be able to make it to the
I
end.
can't see softs. Okay. There goes Plebs.
So I think the
mediums.
Bodhod and one of the Williams cars has actually come in as well. So Plebs has already gone by. So I think it's nearly getting there to the dries. As you can see, I think KD and Dre have also
dead, motherless cold.
onto the dries. So I've got to take this obviously very cautiously. He probably, obviously, you saw what happened on Plebs' point of view.
Not
so
yet.
I can't afford to push.
I haven't even used overtake that long.
I can't afford to push the tyres too much, as you can tell,
yeah,
because
that's
there's
why.
absolutely no grip. And as I get a warning there for running a bit wide, I was probably considering removing that later on, but I don't think that'll. Well, we'll wait and see later on, but I doubt at this stage. So we just see with cautious the update of Plebs.
0.3 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 1 lap old. The time last lap was a 2:0.9.
So his lap times are not the quickest, but he's got no penalties. I was trying to warm up my tyres down the front, that back straight, as one of the back straights anyway, to see if I can find any more grip as I come out of turn 9, and as I go for a spin out of turn 9, and that is definitely not part of the plan there. So I basically binned about quite a 5, 10, I don't know how many seconds I've been there, but
these things have got zero grip.
You can tell there's just absolutely no grip at this early stage. So yeah, I've absolutely maybe binned an opportunity to maybe gain some more positions out of the guys that'll probably pit later on for the pit stop. So that was not part of the plan, to say the least. As I think that's Bodhod now in the pit lane. So let's see where he ends up. KD has decided to pit again. But Bodhod maintains his position. I mean, if I didn't have that spin, I probably would have been ahead of him, potentially. Now, obviously, don't quote me on that one, but there's potential there. So, but you can tell the track is really starting to dry out now. So, I mean, it's not really too far away before the dries are the right tire to be on. You see, nice, of course, see that was not the right way to do it through turn 11. But now we're just basically going to try and chase down Bodhod. Obviously, the tyres will start to eventually get quicker. You probably will notice that anyway. So, back we go to contrast here.
Next lap will be ready.
Shanghai Wow had to think about it going into the final corner. He reckons it'll be the next lap, which will be this one. Will be starting lap 22.
Come on, give me the freaking Rich Fuel mix. Oh my god.
He's having a little bit of issue there with his wheel. It was a little bit of a nudge there from Chain Game Wow.
Oh man, my wheel almost cost me a fucking race there.
Now bear in mind as well, Contrast was originally formerly a pad player. I think from memory when I first knew about him, obviously he was originally a pad player, but he's now, as of recent late, changed to the wheel. I think he's ever since he's done his career mode on his
now
channel.
it's enabled.
He's now switched across to the wheel. So as now DRS is now enabled, you saw then a lap 22. So that'll mean the lap times will should start to fall, you would think anyway. So you see I've got green on in sector 1. This was the time really to push. I've set the fastest middle sector overall. Let's see what it's like through turn 10.
Through here, yep, sort of.
Yeah. It's pretty much well and truly back to what it usually is in the dry. So that's a positive sign of things, as here comes everybody else that was on the inters. They're going to go on the dry. So Contrast is going for softs. Probably no surprise there whatsoever. That's probably the right competitor tyre. As I think there's going to be a little bit of looks like there's a double stack happening at Haas. It probably won't cost them too much, but actually probably cost more Chain Game Wow more than the Star is Born, so because one was ahead of the other, obviously. So that was Plebs, obviously his teammate that just went flying by as he comes out in P7 there. So just maintains ahead of Bodhod there. So pretty nicely done there in the end. I think he managed to.
Oh, come on!
He just ran.
Let's fucking look at him at mirror.
Yeah, probably did you get caught up a little bit of time, as I probably did the exact same thing, as run a little bit wide here, but as we now set the fastest lap of the race. So that's telling you now that this is probably the time that the dries are the right compounder tyre. And well, I've literally got pace, so that's a good sign anyway. Lap 23, oh sorry, end of lap 22 to 23. So what was that lap? 140.505. So in theory, the lap time should just get quicker and quicker and quicker. You'll see that. So I set the fastest overall first sector through in sector 1. As you can see, Chain Game Wow is actually not far up the road here, and I've got quite a gap actually back to G4 straight. So it's basically all on our own here. Lap times will start to get quicker. KD goes even much quicker there, as I get another time penalty. So that second one will not be ideal, as someone up in front there at a moment. I'm not sure exactly who that was. That had maybe a little bit of a moment there. It was a bit hard to tell there actually. Here's Axie into the pit lane. He went a lap later, pretty much I think till DRS was actually fully enabled, or maybe just didn't feel comfortable getting onto the dry. So on fresh soft compounder tyres, so he can go blaze on to the end of this race, as we slowly but surely end this lap here. We're catching up to the lap car of LM15, so Lachlan is up there. Plebs sets the fastest lap. Bodhod now sets the fastest lap. We take it back with a 38.701 on that lap. So You just see the times are really starting to quicken up very much now. So
I'm the fastest. I don't know how.
and you can tell I'm so shocked at how I'm this quick on this with this pace. To be honest, on the soft competitive tires, we get another warning there. I think Lachlan pulled out of the way there, pretty sure. So as you can see, he's now actually been disqualified from the race now. So he's having a very fruitful race, Lachlan. So now we're just trying to catch back up to the guys in front here.
Might get one time
Chain Game Wow and Bodhod. Katie again says the fastest lap of the race. Of course, he's a little bit further down the order. Because I think, who was that? I couldn't actually tell that one, who was the fastest lap. You can see the times. Contrast is at the fastest lap of the race.
I won't get the fastest
We
lap,
were not anywhere near it, but we still set another personal best. So, I mean, that's something else there. It was a 36.0 on that lap time. So, to see the times are really starting to get a lot quicker around here. As we'll jump aboard here with both the Merc boys. I think there potentially could be a switch of position here. There's obviously one's on mediums, so should definitely make it, and one's on much quicker softs. So up the inside goes Contrast, and he gets that move done. So a little bit of a switch around there at Mercedes. Probably fair play to those boys. They make sure it's fair. So another one sets the fast lap of the race. Okay, actually, and you probably guys and girls will be able to see that. But here's another blue flag car. That's Rhythms, who's actually disconnected. I think he disconnected during qualifying or something or other anyways, and didn't get back in or something. But now it's slowly but surely catching up to the racing point here, even though it's not showing a gamer tag, that which I didn't know at the time was actually Bodhod is in this racing point. And obviously trying to not lose ground to Chain Game Wow. Set another personal best on lap 20 at the end of lap 25. What was that lap time? It was a 34.9 on that lap time. But you just see now we're starting to put pressure now on Bodhod, who should get the DRS hopefully on the back straight. So we might make a move on that first DRS straight here if we get a good run through turns 4 and 5. Hopefully not. If we get past it, we can probably go and have a crack at Chain Game Wow. But we are running out of laps here. As you can see, at lap 26. Another warning there. If I get another third warning, I'll be up to 9 seconds worth of penalties, I think. So now we get the DRS here. We're now slowly but surely just gaining. You can see the red light flashing. That probably means I think it means his DRS is dropping, because we get a 3-second time penalty for having 4 wheels all over past the white line. So that's not ideal in terms of finishing positions for later on. So we do get the job done in the end with a little bit of help from the overtake button, and we are now up into P9. But whether we can hang on to this, we'll have to wait and see. There's a little bit of a look. I have to leave him space here through turn 11. Have to shift down all the way through the gears, literally give the engine something. But we managed to hang on in the end here, but we just run it a little bit wide here.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Well, it's sort of a little bit
I know, Jeff.
tight. Well, could you say a little bit tight on fuel? It's a little bit close here. So we'll make sure that we'll have enough fuel to the end of the race. So we'll set another personal best here. But whether we can stay in P9 or not is another question here, because I'm not entirely sure about everybody else on penalties. Another personal best on that lap. On lap 26 to 34. 056. So again, the pace that probably would have been helped a little bit by DRS as well. So we are slowly but surely improving on pace-wise here. But this is on the final lap here. Both the Merc boys, they're still battling away here. I think Contrast did pull away, but now he's been clawed back in. So remember, I don't think the soft compound tyre is not an ideal tyre around here. He's actually close to winning a little bit of pressure here on Contrast. Got to go around the outside into the final couple of corners. Maybe try and put him off there, but in the end, I think Contrast should have it to the line, even with the DRS. Yes, Contrast will hang on for the time being. So, well done to those boys.
Oh, man.
That was good racing towards the end by those boys. Place made sure he didn't let her have a foot go wrong there, or whatever the saying is. I can't even remember. But for us, we will set another personal best. Someone else at the fast lap of the race, but we crossed the line just with enough fuel, and we do hang on to P9, I think,
God
in the
almighty.
end. But that was a 30. Let me just find it. As you can see, 32.421.
Listen to the round of applause.
Hear the round of applause. How beautiful was that? The round of applause there in the end. But we do hang on to P9 in the end. KD will finish the last of the finished runners in P12, P11, one of those two anyway. So So it's P9 for us on our first run in Elite Series. Not too bad, considering what the season I've had in Pacific-wise. Anyway, so Chain Game WoW gets the fastest
How much higher
the driver of the day. So big congrats to him for that one. So yeah, I was sort of ruining that that spin I had on the first lap I had on the dry. So if I didn't have that spin, then I mean, maybe we would have been closer. Maybe we would have been ahead of Chain Game WoW potentially. So it's a kind of coulda, woulda, shoulda thing, isn't it? Really. So yeah, that was the podium there. We'll just get a little bit more XP there. That's for the podium pass, I think it's called. Not that it matters too much. Don't really look at it too much. But Isaac Kush takes the Grand Prix victory ahead of ACW and Axie there in P3. So very nice job for him in the end. Plebs ends up finishing in P4 on the racetrack, obviously with the penalties. Star is Board in P5. Alex Pato 6th. Chain Game WoW 7th. Contrast dropped back to 8th.
I don't think.
Myself in P9. Bondhold in 10th. And it's P11 Harry Tomato. And then P12 is GeForce Dre. P13 I think it was actually for KD there. And then the other guys, well, Rhythm's car was around, but then the other one car was Chich was a DNF, and obviously Lachlan was a disqualification. So the championship standings, you can probably tell there's a couple of names there that obviously have been both Eternal Schnoz and Pure have been elevated to the top tier, so doesn't sort of factor in a little bit. So you could technically say ACW is the championship leader, so over Plebs and Isaac Kush. Kush maybe made some inroads on that one, but the points will still stand, obviously. McLaren still lead the Constructors' Championship over Red Bull, but it's pretty close here, actually. Williams and Mercedes are not too far behind there, so they could change potentially in the next couple of races ahead of Alfa Romeo. So, obviously, Red Bull, I've got to do a pretty decent job there up the top there if we want to maintain our top 5 position, you could say the least there. But with that result, we put ourselves on the board, obviously with 2 points, pretty equal with a couple of other guys by the look of it, in the form of Sharu and G4 Server. So we're P21 at the moment. So the gap, if you want to call it that. Did I write that down? I probably didn't. So yeah, that's fantastic stuff. I think it's like 5 points between ACW and Plebs. But the gap was like 15 between Eternal Schnoz and Pure Gold. But of course, those guys, like I said, got elevated. Pure got elevated from Canada, and Eternal Schnoz from France onwards. So you could tell there. Kush at fifth. Sorry, Rhythms in 6th. There's the driver license points. Pretty clean so far, surprisingly, in the Elite Series. And there's the overall driver of the day stuff. So you can see there's a couple of guys, Axie, Plebs, Contrast got a couple. Both the Alpha boys have got theirs. So, yeah, that was a decent first race of the season. Hopefully we can improve on that one. The next one, hopefully, which will be Austria. But, yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As well as you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more race spec F1 esports content on F1 2020, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. As always, all my social media links will be down in the description. Plus, you can check out the links below to the race spec F1 esports accounts, their Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube channel, their Twitch channel. Plus, hopefully I'll put a link down there for the Discord channel. If you want to come join the league, whether it be for the Tuesday one or the Sunday one or any other leagues that have got going, be sure to check that out down below. But yeah, until the next one, until we next meet, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.